What is going on, guys? It's your average tanky here, and today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the E-100. Now, this was one tech tree that I really focused on during the Christmas holiday ops, mainly because it just offers a very unique and different playstyle compared to other heavy tanks in the game. So we're going to be taking a look at a few quick replays here, getting a feel for how it copes in different situations. So let's dive in. All right, so first game here, we are on the map El Haluf. This is an all tier 10 matchup. I believe this was it was like the second or third game that I played in this tank, so I'm still getting the feel for it, still getting used to it. You're going to see where I made a few mistakes here in this game, but overall it played out pretty well. A few things to note about the E-100. Its weaknesses are, well, obviously your lower plate, but if you're facing your turret head on to the enemy and they're shooting heat, they're gonna have no problem going through your turrets. So the best way to deal with that is time your exposure for number one, when enemies are on reload, or number two, bait them to shooting your turret while it's angled, and then once they fire and they're on reload, going for your shot then. So this is just driving. I'm going to fast forward here. Now, I'm thinking of taking this position up top here. Pretty effective position. I play there mostly my mediums, but as you can see, there's already M60 STB1 up there. The 60 TP is going up there as well as the T57 heavy. I decided, you know what, that's too many tanks there. It's going to be way too crowded. I'm just going to push up and play out here, right? A lot of times you get way too many tanks up there and you just end up bumping into each other, getting each other's way. So I decide I can be a lot more effective on this corner. So first shot, we have 60 TP. We're going to go for a lower plate shot right there. And don't ask me how, but that one ends up bouncing. That's fine. We aren't side scraping here just because, I mean, there's no one camping the angle for us. We're going to put another shot on the E-100. That one bounces. Now, I am shooting full gold. The main reason is, I mean, your average penetration on your standard rounds is 246. That, for tier 10 heavy tank, that's nothing. That's abysmal. Like, a Centurion Mark 7-1 has 268 pen on its standard rounds. Like, you cannot, this is one tank where if you want to be playing effectively, you need to be shooting full gold in it, which is 311 millimeters of penetration. If you're shooting standard ammunition, you're going to have a very, very, very hard time shooting at weak spots. Even like, say, an Object 268 version 4, you can't even hit his lower plate with standard ammunition. So we pushed up to this corner. We pinged the Leopard 1 to fall back. This isn't really a great spot for him given he has no armor, and there's a lot of tanks here. So I'm going to go for a lower plate shot on this Yak Panzer E-100. All right, and this is when I was still getting used to the tank, so I didn't really have a feel for, you know, how effective the armor could be against certain tanks. And as you can see, the Yak Panzer E-100 shoots a heat round through our cheeks, shaving off at least half of our hit points. It's unfortunate, but it happens. We're just gonna have to be very, very, very careful because there's two Yak Panzer E-100s on the opposing team. So as you can see, we angled our turret there, baited the shot from their E-100, and then went in to get a shot into his cheeks while he was on reload. Now, it sounded like one of their Yak Panzers. Yeah, that was definitely a shot from the Yak Panzer, so I'm going to go for a lower plate shot there. That one misses, and we're going to try and bait the shot from the E-100. He hits our gun, and I'm thinking, yeah, it looked like the Yak Panzers were falling back there, so it was pretty safe to take that shot, but it's going to be risky playing this angle with both of those Yak Panzers back there. And it looks like one of them just finished off that Type 5 heavy. So we're in a bit of a precarious position here, right? You can see we're kind of holding back this flank, keeping them from pushing in. I fall back here to try and draw out the E-100. I'm hoping he's going to try and come around this corner to get a shot, maybe bait him into that E-100, but doesn't go for it. So I'm going to go for another quick shot here into the E-100, and we bounce his AP round, thankfully. Go for one more. Looks like he missed. I don't know how that was a tracking shot, but it was. Jagdpanzer gets a fantastic shot on the E-100, so we say thank you for that. And we're just going to try and get an angle on these other Jagdpanzers. Now, if they're shooting standard rounds, it's about a 50-50 penetration whether they're going to go straight through the front cheeks of your turret. If they're shooting heat, it's like a hot knife through butter, you know, nothing you can do about it. But if they're shooting standard ammunition like that one Jagdpanzer was, you're going to be fine. Just angle your turret and you'll do okay. So we decided to fall back because it looked like our team needed some help. You know, there's an STB-1 STI here. We managed to get a shot into the bat chat, and we're going to push in, put some pressure on, maybe finish off some of these one shots. There is a Jagdpanzer pushing in, try and go for a shot on his lower plate, but it hits the rock, unfortunately. So now there are 3 of us left on this flank against 4 enemies. M60 gets a kill there, quickly brings it down to a 3 versus 3, but these are big tanks and they have a lot of firepower. One more hit from one of those Jagdpanzers and that'll make me a one-shot for that Panzerkampfwagen. So we're trying to get an angle on this E-100, maybe. Looked like we got it just for a second there, but unfortunately we didn't. And now he's ready and he's going to pre-aim this corner. Now, I noticed the T-57 Heavy pushed onto that ridge. This M60 is doing a great job keeping him pinned on that corner, but we fall back right away because the last thing we want is to get clipped out by this T-57 Heavy. So immediately, the second he was lit, I fall back, get into side scrape position, a good spot where I can engage him in case he pokes. It looked like he was playing pretty timidly there, so now I'm going to push in and try and help out this Jagdpanzer because it sounded like he just fired. So I want to push in and help him out as best as I can. So Jagdpanzer, he's got our back here, and there are 3 tanks in front of us. Now, the biggest worry here is that T-57 Heavy coming around the corner and trying to clip us out. We try and get a shot on the side of his turret there. He sees that we just fired, so he comes to clip us out, and this is what you do. Angle your turret. This is textbook. Keep your turret angled, and there's nothing that he can do. He just dumped a full clip into the side of our turret, and he couldn't get any penetration. Now we're angled again against this Panzerkampfwagen. We're going to try and bait him into shooting. And you can see I accidentally switched to standard ammunition there because I thought, you know, we're shooting at a T-57 Heavy. This should be no problem. That was a mistake. This Panzerkampfwagen would have been dead if we had kept the ABCR. That's the biggest problem with standard ammunition in this tank. Alright, can we finish him off here? And ooh, we tried to make a very quick shot there and hopefully get the turret back angled against that Jagdpanzer E-100, but he was very quick on the trigger. And he managed to get another shot into the side of our turret. And now this T-57 Heavy is loaded. He's pushing in. And here's where we make a bit of a mistake. So you see the angle there? I wasn't angled well enough to his gun. I turned a bit to the right instead of the left. And as a result, he was able to get one shot into the side of my turret. Now I angle it a bit better here. But he manages to get that last round into our turret and finish him off. But when you're up to 6,000 damage and 6,000 blocked, I'm letting the Jagdpanzer know in chat here that the T-57 fired 4. He's reloading. The Jagdpanzer should just come right around this corner and finish him off. But it looks like he's trying to get an angle here. He does, and he finishes him off, which is fantastic. That's exactly perfect play on his part, which was waiting, you know, seeing that he's on reload and then pushing in to get that final shot. So we'll fast forward here. Pretty much it's a 5 versus 2. They push in, and the Progetto gets a beautiful flank on this T110E4 and pretty much dumps an entire clip into his ass. Beautiful flank for the Progetto. That's like, how much damage was that? That was about an 1800 damage clip, and that's pretty much it. Alright, so second battle here, we are on the map Karelia as Assault. We are defending, and there's really only one play that you can make in a tank like the E-100, and that's in this A8 square. Reason being is you're safe from artillery. If you try and take a tank like the E-100 South, you're just going to get dumped on by artillery the entire game. They're just going to focus you down. You're going to be dead in the first couple of minutes. Don't do it. Go up north. Now, if you notice something, I don't know if there's a glitch or whatever going on with World of Tanks the evening that I played this, but it sent me into battle. I had no repair kit and no fire extinguisher. There was something weird, funky going on with the auto resupply. I let my team know in chat, but shitty situation, but you kind of just have to deal with it, right? I was typing in chat, so a bit of bad driving there, nothing to worry about, and we're gonna push up to this position. So we don't have a repair kit. We're gonna have to play this pretty defensively. Now, if you look at the support we have, we got a Type 4 heavy, and well, if you've ever had Type 4 heavy players on your team before, I won't say it, but you know what I mean. And we also have this M46 Patton who looks to be lost. I don't know what he's doing, but we don't really have a ton of support. We have a T95 behind us, and it looks like a FE215U183 pushing in as well. Now, we're going to try and go for a shot on this E75. Doesn't go in, unfortunately. Now, when I play this in, say, a quicker heavy like my Object 277, generally I'll push up actually pretty aggressively on this ridge and try and get early shots on any quicker tanks or any fast mediums, try and catch them off guard. Fortunately, in a tank like the E-100, even though we are running a turbocharger, we're not quick enough to make that type of play, so we're just gonna have to sit, hug this rock, side scrape, and play defensively. Because we don't have a ton of support, we really can't push into this. There's a ton of tanks unspotted. Ooh. Oh, you can see the second we saw that Jagdpanzer E-100 lit, we immediately turned our turret to the right, got back into a side scrape, and ricocheted his shot. So we're gonna try and go for another shot on this E-75. Doesn't go in, unfortunately, and this IS-7 makes a pretty terrible poke. It looks like someone got a track into him, and here's where I was asking myself, oh, ricochet, another shot from the E-100. See, if you look at the position that he's firing our turret, because we're angled so well, right? Because we're angled so well, it's pretty much an auto ricochet if he's shooting AP rounds. But if you look at the tanks on this flank, in terms of who's the most dangerous, it's that guy. Because the second he dabs his 2-key, we're done. Our turret means nothing, our armor means nothing. So we need to focus him first and foremost. But in the meantime, there's this tracked IS-7. Now you're probably wondering, what? Hey, he hasn't used his repair kit. Why isn't that? Well, turns out he was having the same issue we were, where he was dumped into battle without any equipment. So weird night for World of Tanks, but looks like they fixed it the next day, and now we have this 50 TP who is just eating himself into us. He's gonna get a shot into us, but we can't worry about that because we have this Jagdpanzer E-100 here. We need to focus on bouncing his shot. So we're gonna go for a tracking shot here. He has the biggest gun here. We need to focus on taking him out first and foremost before anyone else. Now, if you look at where this E-75 is. Look at how far out from cover he is. He is sitting in the middle of the open, and I don't know what these TDs were smoking, but pay attention to how long these tanks sit up here without taking any fire. Pretty much the only people shooting at them are artillery. Now, go for a tracking shot on this E-100. You know, we could have gone for a penning shot, but I think it was more important to go for a tracking shot. Hopefully those TDs can finish him off. Now, it looks like that E-75 was actually, because he was extending so far out this way, he was actually able to get 2 rounds into our lower plate right underneath there. So one thing to note, you know, this is my first time playing this tank in this position. If they extend all the way out, they're going to have clear shots on your lower plate. So go for a shot, track this E-100. He burns his repair kit, and this E-75 gets another shot into us. He's been the only tank to pen us so far, so as soon as I finish off this E-100, I want to focus him down next, because he's already taken off about half of our HP. And he just gets another shot in. I try and go for a shot in on him, but he's doing a fantastic job staying safe behind this E-100. Can't fault him for that. But we're going to try and stay safe as much as possible and deal with the tanks in front of us. And, oh, clutch a lower plate shot into the E-75. We're up to 6,000 damage blocked and 5,000 damage. Now, once we're reloaded here, I'm going to go... So, this is a lazy play. You know, the E-100 was tracked. I was like, or sorry, not tracked. He was stunned, so I was thinking, okay, you know, maybe I'll be able to get this shot off without getting a pin, but, you know, I shouldn't have made that type of a poke. This was a big mistake, and you'll see why in a second here. Second mistake I made was not paying attention to my map. Notice this T-30. While I was focusing on the tanks in front of me, I didn't pay close enough attention to when this T-30 was last spotted. I was under the assumption that he was spotted a minute or two ago, so I figured he would have fallen back to defend by now. But turns out he was just spotted there pretty much like 30 seconds ago. Of course he's still there. We're going to get a shot into him, but he is able to finish him off. So, how could we have played that differently? Well, best bet would have been to push up to this red line and then sit hull down and use our turret to peek over the top and take a look to figure out where that T-30 is. Our team is up 5 tanks, so we do end up getting a win. Nothing to worry about, but number one was being lazy and taking that shot from that E-100, and number two, being lazy and not paying attention, not having that map awareness against that T-30. That was another reason that got us killed in the end. But otherwise, pretty great battle. We'll take a look at the end plates and then head on to the next one. Okay, so last battle. This is going to be a short one, but it is a fantastic replay. We are on the map Hemseldorf. We're top tier in a mostly tier 8 matchmaking, and the reason why I'm showing this is because we're going to have some amazing synergy with one particular tank on our team, and we're going to absolutely demolish everyone on our flank. Now, you can see I'm having a bit of fun in chat with some teammates here. Not actually going hill. Do not take your E-100 to hill. That's a joke. But otherwise, we're going to go pretty standard heavy tank play, which is going down tank alley here, aka the banana. We're top tier, so I want to push in very aggressively. You can see a Badger is spotted already. Can't really worry about that. We want to push up to this position here. Now, I angle my turret here, bump into the E3 a little bit. My apologies, but I just want to get up to this position here. Bounce a mouse, and we are able to get a shot into his lower plate while he's on reload. Now, take a look at this. So, what have we done? Your turret is pretty effective against standard ammunition, but once they start using gold, like you can see this mouse is, it's a small chance, but there still is a chance that they're going to penetrate your turret flat on. So what we've done is we've elevated our tank up on this berm, so that way our the front plate on our turret is shifted back a bit, and we're able to get better use of our armor on this angle. So I'm just fiddling with it, getting the right angle here, and in this position we're pretty much impenetrable. Doesn't matter, Mouse can shoot all the gold he wants, he's never gonna pen us. And you can see he's given up on shooting at us, he's shooting at this E3 instead, but we're pretty much completely safe playing in this position. Now, one more shot into the lower plate, that finishes off this mouse. Now, one thing to pay attention to here is using a tank this big in close quarters. I'm gonna let this E3 know that I'm gonna help him. I got his back. We're gonna go for a shot on the lower plate of this TS5. Don't ask me how that bounced. Just no words there. But we can see this E3 is about to fire. We're gonna hold our shot. As soon as he fires, I'm gonna push in and go for my shot. We're gonna go for a commander's hatch shot here. I knew I was gonna take a hit from the Badger. No big deal, we have the hit points. We just want to clear out this flank, because if you look at the hill, pretty much the majority of their team went to the hill. So first things first, we need to finish off that TS5. Once again, we ricocheted his commander's hatch even though it was green. Don't ask me how. We're gonna go for a tracking shot on this Badger. E3 gets a second hit, and I see that the Conway is coming up to get the finishing shot, and I immediately back off to give him space to make that shot. Perfect. We're up to 1500 damage. Now, what kind of a play do you want to make here? Well, do you go up on the hill or do you fall back? Now, in hindsight, the better play would have been to fall back, mainly because I knew that they were going to lose the hill, but I didn't realize how quickly, I expected they would have lasted a little bit longer. Turns out they didn't, and by the time we got to the hill, there was nothing. So, come around this corner before he gets a shot into us, and look at how quickly we finished this off. This is some amazing synergy. So, just like that, he's down half his points. We're gonna angle our turret, try and get his shot, go for a shot into him, and then let the E3 finish him off. We got him blocked and pinned in this corner, and just like that, a Type 4 Heavy is down in less than 20 seconds. I'm looking behind me to make sure that that E3 has enough space to get through. If he didn't, I would have just nudged the Type 4 Heavy out of the way a little bit more. And you can see we've just lost the hill, so we are a little bit late pushing in, but it's too late to turn back now. We're just gonna have to push in regardless. And oh my, look at this Panther. Oh, 1, 2, Panther is dead. Oh, poor Panther, poor Panther. Now it looks like our team is trying to cap out. I mean, like, there's really no need to cap out at this point. You can see, we're in chat. Some people are saying cap, some people are saying don't cap. There's really no need to cap at this point. Like, me and this E3, we're pretty high on HP. We're gonna have no problem clearing through the team and anyone left on this hill. So we're gonna come up, go for a shot on this Striv. I am exposing my lower plate here. I don't want him playing passively. I need him to poke and shoot. So if he does get a shot into us, it's fine. We have the HP to spare. Meanwhile, this E3 is pushing around the side here to flank this Patton. And you can see he's going to draw the Patton into us. We're pretty much going around either side. And once the Patton comes around, you can see this Striv isn't really poking, but we're gonna get a free shot in on this Patton. We do take two hits, but I mean, we have so much hit points now, the game's almost over. I'm okay, feeding them some damage to get these shots in. This shot's green, but bounces. Just RNG, nothing you can do about that. and then the strip starts running. We go after him. That's pretty much game. What a fantastic game on the map. Hemmelsdorf, what amazing synergy we had with that E3. We pretty much plowed through the entire flank. That's what happens when you get two heavily armored tanks who are able to work together, work effectively, who are able to, get those 1-2 shots in sequence. You can pretty much plow through every flank. But overall, that's it for this video. See you guys on the next one.